Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for coming to Storytime with E.T.C. This is amazing that we have a chance to finally see you guys in person and talk to you. Congratulations on the EP coming out today.
Thank you so much.
Of Thrones. That is amazing. I want to know just how all three of you are feeling individually about this monumental moment, because you also made it onto the Billboard Canada for upcoming Canadian albums, which is just phenomenal. So Aria, do you want to go first?
Yeah, honestly don't know what to say. Like, it's such a surreal experience. We've been working on this for months now, and to see it out and for like people to be able to listen to it and experience it now is real. I'm really happy. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's amazing to see it kind of finally come to view on the different platforms and seeing the artwork and seeing all of our songs lined up there. It looks amazing, and it's pretty cool to see.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with Jonah. Like, it's so cool because we were obviously there when the songs were being written. So it's cool to go from like sitting in the practice studio to like having it on Spotify with the artwork and everything. So it's cool to see the whole progression.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and the success, right?
Yeah,
yes, absolutely.
A lot of people have your goals, but they're not able to put it all together. And I think that's what's so unique about you three is your journey to come to each other. We know like The Warning is like a family band, that's a trio that comes together. Rush is another band that you know that's a trio band, but they're like a little older and all that. So to know that there's kids from high school that are different genders that found each other and are still moving forward, I think that's really unique and a story within itself.
So Aria and I, we went to the same middle school, and we'd always like see each other, like we'd walk past each other in the hallways. We'd see each other wearing like cool like band t-shirts and stuff, but we're all quite introverted. So it took us until one of the last days of school to finally talk to each other. We're like, oh shoot, it's the last day of school. What if we never see each other again? So we did that. We just chatted and we decided that we needed to jam. So from there we were jamming at her house, and then
Aria's mom actually knew somebody that I had played with, Sean Lightfoot and Sean Lightfoot Band. I played a couple songs with them before, and so we got connected through that. They knew that I wanted to be in a band, and these two already knew each other. So then Aria came to meet me when I was playing in downtown Kelowna.
And that was about a month, give or take, after we had met each other.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that long. Like, we've known each other all for about the same amount of time.
Basically. Cool. And then after we met up, Quinn was away on vacation, but then after that we made a group chat. It was really weird.
It was very awkward.
Yeah.
On the 28th, so like a few days ago, we had our 2-year anniversary. So the 28th was the day that Aria and I went to Jonah's house and we had that first jam together.
Wow.
So it's cool that like almost the date 2 years later is when the EP.
It's wild.
That's surreal within itself and meant to be, right? And we feel so lucky to be a part of the Cold Front, because our goal starting this reaction channel was to find a band exactly like you to try to help promote and to like be a part of the journey moving forward. So I think you guys also have one of the coolest names for fans, which is the Cold Front.
Yeah, yes, I think they came up with that themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think the fans came up with that?
I think so, yeah.
Originally,
Very cool.
the freezies or something.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
we figured it would stick better if they named themselves, you know. Then
100%.
this is what you're called now. So yeah, awesome.
That's amazing. Who normally talks the most in an interview?
I'd say Quinn, you always have a lot to say. I think you always you're able to express yourself very well and get to the point. So I think you probably do talk the most, but we're definitely getting better at each tackling. We're getting better at talking equally in interviews.
Yeah, because like we just said earlier, like we're all like pretty introverted, so it's definitely been a whole learning experience with like interviews and stuff. But yeah, I think maybe I talk a bit more than the other two. I think I'm trying to give like points that we can all build off of.
Right. You have to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable when you start getting into these positions. Even us, like I'm sweating, I'm stressed, I'm nervous. Maybe you can't tell, but like
so I understand that's normal too, right? Whenever you watch other people doing interviews, like you don't see the behind the scenes, like they're probably pretty nervous too, right? So
we are, and we feel honored to be seeing you guys too. So
Oh, thank you so much. Thank
I
you.
asked this question because I wanted to see who to kind of jump to first for people who maybe aren't talking as much. So I'm going to start with Jonah, actually, then to Aria, then to Quinn.
Okay, sounds good.
Does that sound good, Jonah?
Yeah, sure. Oh boy.
Okay, so you are 16 now, but you've been drumming since you were 8. So that's already half of your whole year you've been drumming. I mean, life. And
Mhm.
Justin has been the one teaching you.
Yes.
What about Justin have you loved, and how has he made you into the drummer that you wanted to be?
Oh, wow.
Wow,
It's a
That is
great
that is a
question.
great question. I think a big thing about Justin's teaching style is he's not exactly like a teacher or somebody kind of beyond your very inner circle. He's more like a bigger brother.
Oh, nice.
Because I think that's a really important dynamic to have between your student and you. I mean, I think his teaching style is quite different than than a lot of like it's not like assignments, kind of how a school system would be structured or a class.
Okay.
It's more so like you're researching either the culture of drumming, you're looking at different drummers and
Real
you're like have
philosophical view.
right, yeah, and you're like playing different songs, learning about your favorite bands, and their drumming styles, that kind of thing. And I think that unique teaching style has really influenced me and my drumming throughout the years.
Yeah.
Incredible. And shout out to him, because if that's been a teacher with you for this whole time as well, like for the
Yes.
whole 8 years, yeah,
Mhm.
that's phenomenal within himself. And shout out to Justin.
Yeah.
What band would you love to open for if you could only pick one? And did their drummer inspire you the most?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. I from my parents, my dad, and for a lot of my life I've loved the Foo Fighters.
Nice.
And I think Taylor Hawkins has definitely inspired a lot of my drumming and my playing style, actually. He's a big inspiration to me.
Incredible.
Josh Freese, I'm not as familiar with, but he is their new drummer, but I'm not as familiar with him. I think that I've known Taylor Hawkins the most throughout my life. So I'd say that he's been a huge inspiration, and I'd love to open for the Foo Fighters someday.
Great pick. We love the
Great
Foo
pick.
Fighters here.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to shout out real quick. I think this album art is incredible, and I found out that you actually have like a real throne on here from Texas or something like
Yes.
that. too.
Yes, yes.
I just find that incredible, because I know Spirit Box, the person who made this for you, also did Spirit Box's album
Yes,
art
yes,
there
they
too,
did.
and
Yes.
that's a band that really has inspired you. So I just thought that's really
Yes.
cool too.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
How much are you working on your vocals this year, Jonah? And are you trying to incorporate your voice into new tracks? Because I know Alana would love to hear some growling or something from you.
Yes.
It has been a goal of mine to learn how to scream eventually. I haven't been working on that at the moment, but Aria might be working on something. For singing though, there is some pretty complicated drums up and coming.
Ooh.
So I think for now the singing won't be as prominent,
Mhm.
but you can expect some other forms of talking or anything like that. I might be still featured vocally on songs. So
Yes.
Very cool.
Incredible. And this one's a fun one to just lighten the mood. Do you prefer to ski or snowboard?
oh, I've been
You've done your research.
Yes, you have. I've only skied for a couple years, but I am a skier. I'm actually thinking
on.
of transitioning to snowboarding though.
Snowboarding all the way?
Such a big surprise. Yeah, I'm thinking of switching to snowboarding for next year, just seeing what that's all about.
Very cool.
That's awesome. So you stay in good shape too, because I know with musicians we all have to stay in shape because we forget how athletic it is to keep performing out there as well.
Mhm.
So that's awesome. So now on to Aria. I kind of want to ask what the hint was there from Jonah about the new
Singing.
vocals or something coming in, if that's something you can allude to.
Yeah. I've just for the past couple months I've been working on some more aggressive vocal techniques, and hopefully in future projects I'll be using them. So yeah, if I can,
Very exciting.
yeah, for sure.
That is incredible. So you're 15 and you have been playing ukulele since 9 and bass since 12.
Yes.
So you're the bassist and the backup vocalist, which is incredible. Maybe some intense singing here soon too. You have covered Hysteria on bass, which
Yes.
is it's no joke.
Yeah.
What has been the most satisfying song or bass line to learn?
I love that question. I'd have to say Yitzy Jam by Dream Theater. That one,
Oh,
Wow.
yeah, so my original bass teacher, I'm still taking lessons with him a little bit right now, but he was a really big into Dream Theater and Meshuggah and got me into that like kind of like older style of metal. Those are two very different styles of metal, but and so it was like the third lesson we had, and he's like, hey, do you want to try something fun? I was like, what's that? And he's like, let's learn some Dream Theater. So it took us like about a year, but
Very cool.
Wow.
only a year?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
A natural, it sounds like. Wow. What are your cats' names? We're big cat people.
yes, so my cat's name, his full name, like on his birth certificate, is Sir Gryffindor Elven Arctic.
I love that.
Amazing.
I love that.
Yes, that's my cat. And then I have a dog named Speza. She's named after Scotch. Yeah.
After a scotch. Okay.
I like that. Two of my
Yes.
favorite things, nerdy stuff and scotch. So like that's great.
What's so cool? Like y'all say you're so introverted, but once your walls are down, you're so bubbly, and we love people that love animals as well. It brings a different soul to you. So it's awesome that you guys love your animals as well. And something else I noticed that you all love is horror films.
Yes.
What are your 3 favorite horror films?
Oh,
Oh, is this for all of us or just Aria?
yeah.
We'll start with Aria and then Jonah, then Quinn.
Okay, sweet.
Gotta think.
okay. I'd have to say, well, of course, the iconic First Saw. That movie is really love that one. And then I'd have to say The Hereditary. I always watch that one. It's like my comfort movie.
I just love when she gets her head cut off. It's like so comforting to me.
That third head caught off. Perfect.
Yeah.
And then,
Most people's comfort shows are like Gilmore Girls, and you're like, well, you know, Hereditary is just.
it's a good one. It's a good one. And I don't know. It's technically like a series, but like the VHS series, we watch them in the studio, and they're
yeah.
really good. I like they're like, I don't know if you know what they are. They're just like a bunch of like little
No, I don't.
like horror stories in like one big movie called VHS, and they all kind of tie together.
Cool.
I don't know. I find them really fun. I like them.
Yeah, actually, like Aria just said, sorry, but while we were like making Thrones in the studio, there was always something on the TV, and usually it was VHS because there's a bunch of those movies.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah, they're reminding me of the
and
studio,
you
so
can
I
see
like
things
them.
related to VHS in the future.
Yes.
So just remember that. Remember that.
Cool little
Okay.
Easter egg to keep.
Yes.
Yeah. I think one of my favorites is the Blair Witch Project.
Ooh.
Very good one.
I loved its unique approach with using found footage
Mhm.
and making it seem so real was
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
terrifying. I think another underrated favorite of mine is Skinamarink. It's a newer horror movie that you might not have heard of.
No.
I have heard of it.
Yeah.
Avery, who's
Um,
actually my son, who's your age, he loves it.
Oh.
Yeah. I thought, as well as the Blair Witch Project, this one was very creative and unique and unlike any other horror film I've ever seen. So I think if you haven't seen it already, you should
I
definitely
haven't.
check it out. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
And I think also the first Scream is definitely a classic for me. It's one of the
Wow.
first horror movies that I watched, and it's really stuck with me because of its like classic slasher vibe, but with a really good twist to it. So yeah, so
Absolutely. Great
one of my
pick.
favorites.
Yeah. I also have to say the first Saw movie because it was just like such a big plot twist. Like I know there's a lot of horror movies that are just like stabbing and there's like no plot, but
Yeah.
I really
It like
love
messes with your brain, you know?
yeah, like it got to the end of the movie and I was like, my jaw was on the floor.
Yeah.
What? So definitely the first Saw movie. Sinister because it was my first horror movie that I ever watched, and also Midsummer because I think it's like very creative. That yeah, Midsummer fan. Okay,
Midsummer.
I love that it's like so beautiful and sunny and like
Yeah.
but they contrast it with like such like this dark like cult. So I
It's
thought
such a juxtaposition of everything that you're expecting out of a horror movie, but then it keeps you engaged the entire time, but you're also like cheering on the girl the whole time. So it's such
Yes.
a great one.
Yes, absolutely. And I was watching this, I saw this video. It was like this whole like hour-long video, and it was this guy who was breaking down all these little like Easter eggs from that movie. And it was just like, what?
Whoa.
Like it was so cool. Like I need to go back and rewatch it. But
Absolutely. I've seen it like so many times.
so good. So
This
good.
is great for us to know because we also know obviously music is what that keeps you all together, but there's more to just music that's keeping you three together, and finding out about your love for horror and stuff like that and seeing the real passion of that. It's that type of art. So you almost like psychological thrillers, it sounds like too, as well as horror,
Yes,
right?
I love
Definitely.
psychological films like that.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And horror movies have been there since like probably like since like the first practices.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the first one we watched was like the Rob Zombie Halloween remakes
Oh
of
my God, nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that I actually wasn't really into horror movies before Freeze the Fall.
Yeah,
but
neither
then-
was I.
Yeah.
And then Jonah was like, it's a horror movie.
It was like a tradition. We would jam for a few hours and then we had to watch a horror movie. It
Yeah,
was like
because
tradition.
yeah, because we quickly discovered that like it's really important to take time to like just be friends.
Yes.
Everyone's always like, you got to work for this many hours and the grind and blah blah blah, which it's absolutely important to like put your hours into and to work hard. But at the end of the day, none of this would work if we weren't friends and if we
friends,
didn't
yeah.
get along and if we weren't comfortable being like vulnerable with each other.
Yeah.
Of course, watching horror movies together. So that was like a very important part and still is of like
Your growth.
this and our growth and our friendships. So yeah.
Absolutely. And that makes a ton of sense as well, because horror movies in itself is a form of artwork. And especially because a lot of the ones that the three of you enjoy are very psychological in their nature, and they have a lot of thinking and thought process, which also brings us into like your actual songs on your EP, on your album, which have a lot of thought process and provoking things in their lyrics. So like even going into you have a in your track list, you have Grief, you have One Left Standing, Masquerade, where Jonah's even in a mask while he's drumming. But when you're putting all this together, it's like you're really thought-provoking in your music and the art that you're performing in, as well as in your friendship. So that really shows through, and I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We really appreciate
Yeah,
that.
we love that.
So I have some questions for you about the actual songs themselves. So in Masquerade, we just mentioned that Jonah was wearing a masquerade mask while drumming. What time or moment in your life do you feel like you have to put on your mask or your persona the most?
Jonah.
Whoa.
Wait, this is from me.
This could
yeah,
be for
this is your
Jonah.
time to
This is
talk,
for
Jonah.
Oh dear. Wow.
These are amazing questions,
love
by
these
the way.
That was a
Thank
great
you.
question. I love how it relates to Masquerade. That is so cool. I think a classic example of that would be like in media.
Yeah.
Like if you're I mean, of course not in this interview. It's much more open and friendly here, but
Glad to hear.
for different things, like if you're doing a post or something,
Oh yeah.
maybe you have to put on like this expression because maybe you're not
Right.
feeling super happy that day, but you have to really act like it to kind of draw in the attention of viewers.
Absolutely, which is a weird
Well
effect.
said.
Because, yeah, and it's a weird effect because then in doing that, the people who see it, they're like, oh, then when I have to post, I have to be like this. And then everyone just wears their masks and dances on.
No
It's
kidding.
a chain reaction.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. It's like your username is like your mask.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. I also have another question, because in a lot of the songs, like there's Jonah wore a masquerade mask during Masquerade. He also had there's another
Robot mask.
the robot
in
mask in Glitch, and then blindfolded at another time.
Mhm.
But we've only seen Jonah wearing the masks. Is there a reason that the artistry is really seen on for the drummer who is sitting there, or is there a different thought process to that?
Well, I think just generally for a lot of drummers, it's kind of hard to stand out since you're not always
Yeah.
at the front, being that front man or woman type character. But I think that was a big thing for the masks. But it was more of a artistic choice by the directors or the videographers,
Very cool.
which kind of really represents the songs. I
Mhm.
mean, you have the robotic mask to represent feeling robotic, then the masquerade masked to represent the masquerade ball.
Yeah.
And the daughter's mask is, we haven't actually talked about that one very much. I don't think
I have a
anybody's asked
direct
about
question
that.
for that one
Oh,
too. So like
okay.
that's really cool that you haven't really
Wonderful.
talked
we're
about
into
it.
that.
Yeah.
Um,
Bottom.
Bottom. Thank you, honey. So the question was Jonah was playing blindfolded, referencing to the lyrics, nations hide their eyes. How hard was that for you to then play the drums blindfolded? And like, where did that whole thought process come from?
Here's the funny thing. I actually have played blindfolded before. So I used to do these solos, these medleys, and I had this thing where I would play blindfolded. I would wear a blindfold for a certain part.
Like before he met us.
Before
Wow.
before freeze the fall, sorry. So it's interesting for drums playing blindfolded. It's more like muscle memory. You kind of know where each drum is in your vicinity almost. It's weird, yeah.
Very cool.
Mhm.
And you said that was a artistic design by the directors who were doing the videos. Did the three of you have a lot of say in the artistic design, or did you kind of leave that to the videographers? What kind of brought that into fruition?
It feels weird to like call them like the directors and stuff because they really are our friends, Evan and Teddy.
Amazing.
Films.
Very
So
cool.
we absolutely did have a say in everything. We were sitting actually at the table that we're sitting at right now, and they had their like notebooks out, and we were all just talking, and they were kind of I don't know, Evan, he had like a lot of ideas. Like as we were talking, he was like, "Oh, what if we did this and this and this?" And a lot of Jonah's masks and stuff were a result of that.
Yeah.
But if we had wanted to change anything, we would have
Yeah.
they would have listened to us. It's not
Very
like
cool.
it's not like they were making the video for
Mhm.
us. So
Yeah, for sure.
yes.
That's really cool that it's all your friends and like a lot of people who you have like these intimate relationships with,
Yeah.
because that makes it such a artistic piece versus just an album.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And I think that's such an important part of like us and our team and even like you guys, like the reactors and the fans. It's just like art is very vulnerable. So I think it's very important to be surrounded by people who are willing to work with you and to be your friends instead of like pushing you to do things that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is a question that I have for whoever wants to answer it or for all of you. Do you need to stop sinning for the mask to come off and leave this masquerade ball that we're all born into?
Whoa.
Aria.
Oh.
That's for Aria.
For Aria.
Oh.
Oh my God. Help me out. I don't know.
Okay, so the question is, do we need to stop sinning for us to
Yeah.
remove the
Have
mask?
that remove the mask.
I think it depends on like why you're wearing the mask. Like
Mhm.
people can like want to have that like default personality for different reasons. It's not always a sin. It can sometimes be you're just like you
Sometimes
Yeah,
it's even
yeah.
on accident. Sometimes you don't realize because if it's something that you're born into, you might not notice it. This is kind of
Yeah.
like a side little thing, but it's related. I just remembered this right now. I don't know if you guys will remember, but when we were writing Masquerade, there was this we were talking about this one show that we had seen at school. You'll remember this. It was this, I think it's shown in like all across BC in schools. It was this girl, and she was like this high school
Yeah, the
student,
yellow mask.
and she was
Yeah.
wearing a mask, and her mask was different than the masks that everyone else in like in her school were wearing.
Okay.
Well, there was a group of people standing there with the yellow masks and the red masks, and I remember someone from the red mask group. He was like walking to the yellow mask group, so he took off his red mask, put on his yellow mask, and this girl, the main character, she had like a cracked mask, and she was the only one that could actually see what was going on with all of these people.
Mm.
Wow.
It's kind of a sidebar, but I just remembered that we were like talking about that while we were.
Very cool. I've actually never seen that
Yeah.
video.
Mhm.
So that's something I'm actually really curious about. I'm gonna go Google it.
Yeah, I'll
really
have to
cool.
find what it's called because they've shown it in like English class a few times. I think it's like I think it's all of BC.
I agree.
Maybe
yeah.
it's just our school district, or maybe it's all of Canada. I'm not sure, but like they've played it multiple times in
Yeah.
my classes.
For sure.
Mhm.
Wow.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I'll have to find what that's called and I'll let you know if I do.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate
No
that.
problem.
And then I have
I
another.
just want to
Yeah.
add something to that because I think Jonah, you alluded to this when you're posting on social media that sometimes you have to put that mask on when you want to show people that you're happy or not. And then is that a sin? I don't know, because then are we lying when we're smiling when we should be frowning because that's actually how we're feeling inside? And then
That's true.
is that how you get out of this masquerade ball in life? Is that you finally can show people your true self regardless of how you're feeling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that that's true. I think being true to yourself is the actual way to escape the
To escape.
masquerade ball or become the person with the cracked mask, I guess,
Yeah.
like we were talking about before.
Yeah.
I think that also the kind of perfectionist like structure of social media is also pretty interesting and relates to this masquerade ball because you see all these people trying to post like these perfect pictures to fit on their page or on their channel. And it's interesting that that's not how it actually is behind the scenes, behind the filters and
Yeah.
such.
Mhm.
So
Totally.
mhm.
I think
Absolutely.
I think also the first step to like removing your mask is to realize that it's like there in the first place. Because
Yes.
like I think if everyone's wearing these masks, then you might not realize it at first.
Mhm.
Well
know?
said.
So I
Very
think that's
well
the
said.
first step in removing the mask. And I think also removing the mask isn't a permanent thing. I think you have to constantly work every day to keep your mask off of your face. Do you know what I mean? It's not like it's
I
gone
agree.
forever. Like you have to work at it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. I agree with all of that. That is so cool. And I love how much thought process you've put into a lot of your into your lyrics and how it has even related to things that you're going through in your personal lives that you're experiencing. So that's just awesome.
Beautiful answers. Thank
So
you.
much. Well, beautiful questions.
Yeah,
Not
Yeah,
even- Not
absolutely.
everyone takes the time to do the research and to actually talk like this. We like the deep
Yeah,
conversations.
we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank
those
We
are-
really appreciate you
Thank you
three
so much.
too.
Yeah, no problem.
So I have another question here. Doubters and haters can be aplenty, but how do you get through your own doubt and get past your own imposter syndrome?
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. I think for me, I just need to be alone in my room like all day. Maybe just like listening to shut up, listening to music, or even going like taking a walk, just being like by myself because I've become quite overwhelmed when there's lots of people, even if they're not like mad at me or anything. I just become overwhelmed when there's a lot going on.
Right.
Just taking a day to myself, I can listen to music, I can draw, I can go for a walk, I can write music, like anything. I think that helps me to be more like grounded, and then I can assess what's going on around me, and then I can kind of like recharge.
Right.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Taking time to yourself is really important. I also think that getting perspectives from other people can also help a lot with your situation because you might have tunnel vision in your
Yeah.
journey.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think that getting perspectives from other sides will allow you to like poke holes in that tunnel vision.
And then you're able to see as the light shines through.
Exactly, yeah. That's
Yeah.
what I'm envisioning.
Yes,
like
and I
that.
think that in our friendship, I think we can recognize when someone is having tunnel vision. So I think that since
Ooh.
we know each other so well, we can be like the other two people can be like
Mhm.
can help to guide the person.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So yeah, which I think is very important.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Another question related to this one. So we've done quite a few interviews with a ton of different band members, and a lot of band members, even if they've been in the field and for a long time, have often commented about having imposter syndrome, where they're like, I still can't even believe I'm on stage. How do you guys deal with imposter syndrome, or do you feel that at all?
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think that on stage before. Usually, I mean, on stage, it's kind of a lot of adrenaline, but I do
Mhm.
believe that imposter syndrome is definitely felt like by a lot of musicians on stage, because especially if you have a kind of quicker progression or journey until
Yeah.
that point, it can kind of seem like, whoa, this is all happening so fast. And it can definitely feel surreal and almost overwhelming.
Yeah, I think that's definitely been a thing for us, or at least me. Like,
Mhm.
we've been a band for 2 years, but like already so much has happened, and
Yeah.
sometimes it can be really, really overwhelming, or there can be like there's a lot of ups and downs to it, right? There's like you got like really, really exciting news, but then right after it's like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, am I good enough? Am I all of these?
Right.
But I think it's important to, like we said before, to just like do whatever helps you to feel grounded so you can properly assess what's going on around you.
Go for a walk, listen to your music, do your journaling, and be able to reground yourself and reconnect with, especially being in BC, with nature and everything that's
Yes.
around you,
Mhm,
to then be
exactly.
able to move forward from that. I really like that.
One thing I wanted to just say, because I noticed the time, we have about 4 minutes until we're at the 3 or 2:30 mark. Do you guys have any extra time after that? We have a
We-
bit more talk here.
We do. We
Yeah,
do.
don't-
We
don't-
can, we can keep going.
Okay, well then we'll go till we're gone for
Yeah,
our
like if you
stuff.
need
Yeah.
to go to like 45 or 50, like that's fine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're having a good time.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Whoa,
This
we
is
did that insane.
what the
Hey.
no, you guys are doing a really good job, and we enjoy
Yes.
spending time with you. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, that feels great. Like, so,
So this question is from Daughters of Witches. This is about Jonah's blindfold as well, but anyone can answer this one as well. So Jonah's blindfolded, is this a reference to Eyes Wide Shut? How can we take control of what we think about ourselves amidst the media controlling narratives?
Uh,
wow.
how do we take control of our own lives? Well, the media and the upper music industry seems to be controlling them.
Controlling narratives, absolutely.
I think actually most of the theme in Daughters is kind of standing up for yourself and for your voice and your opinions. So I think that is a great answer to this. I think that voicing your opinions and not so siding so easily with maybe other people or other people that might be trying to take advantage of you or advantage of us, especially because we are so young and so new to this,
Yeah.
that I think
Yeah.
standing up for yourself is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So being surrounded by people who share like a similar vision or
Yes,
similar
yeah,
like
exactly.
worldview. Yeah.
Absolutely. How do you guys stand up for yourselves being like so young and new into the industry, into a place where a lot of older musicians or people who have been in this realm for a lot longer, when they're trying to give advice or explain or what they're wanting to push forward for you? How do you stand up for yourself at the best?
We take ourselves seriously, and I think that when we
Yeah.
speak to other people in the industry, we try to show that, because I think that if you're I don't know, if you're being a little bit more like wishy-washy with your answers and kind of like scattered and all over the place, even if that's the way that you feel, I think it's important to be kind of like as focused as you can be and to stand up for yourself. Because yeah, there are definitely a lot of people who will take advantage of you, regardless of even if you're in the music industry or not. That's just how
Absolutely.
life is. So I think it's important to be very humble and very kind, but also very direct, which is
Yeah.
definitely a difficult
Yeah.
skill to learn. All of
Yeah,
those
for
things.
sure,
It's definitely
balancing.
something we're all working on, but I think personally, I think that's the way to go about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And I think
Perfect.
right now we haven't really encountered a lot of that because we have so much support, and
Yeah, we have a great team.
our team right now is just like family. So we haven't encountered a lot of that so far, but if we were to, we have a lot of support behind us, and we're able to kind of assert that confidence that that is
Yeah.
needed. So.
Yeah.
For sure.
Awesome.
well, speaking of the support, I know you guys had a very successful Kickstarter program that helped you actually get your EP out and all your music videos and all that too. Whose idea was that to kind of push it forward? And was that a lot of just amazing feeling to see how much support actually came from?
So that was my mom's idea. And at first, like everybody else was really skeptical, including me. I was like, there's no chance anybody's gonna like even think about supporting us.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
Jesse
Wow.
and Jesse
Yeah.
live stream.
Yeah.
Remember that? So sorry, but so that was kind of Kickstarter was kind of an idea that we were going to do. But Jesse from Bell
Yep.
Development.
Yep.
We were invited on this like live stream with him, and all these people who were on this live stream, they started donating to us, and so that was the moment that we saw that people actually care enough to like financially support us. So from
Right.
there, we were like, oh, well, maybe we should just try doing a Kickstarter, you know, we'll just see what happens. And then from there,
Yeah, and then we started it and did lots of like promoting and stuff, and we got there and we doubled what our goal was originally, which was wild. It was
That's
unbelievable.
wild.
And then
Yeah.
because you doubled it, were you able to do more things because of that?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of that went towards the music videos for each song, and it would have been really hard to do those music videos without that. So
yeah.
Yes.
And the reason that the music videos are all in the same place was because like we were limited to like obviously we got a lot of money from fans, but we wanted to like spread it out as much as we could and make the
Mhm.
most out of it. So to do that, we had to make all these music videos in the same location. But
yeah, for sure.
yeah, but Evan and Teddy at 26 Films, I think they've done a really good job with their editing, so it makes it look like you can clearly see it's in the same spot, but it's not repetitive, I don't think.
It's not repetitive,
It's not
no.
repetitive. It was
Good.
actually really unique. I really liked how they were all in the same location because it gave familiarity,
Which you want,
still,
too.
which you want, but it was still
Yeah.
very different song to song. So like I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was a beautiful location. You guys definitely look cold, which, you know, added to your whole, you know, cold front coming in. is-
Yes,
Yeah.
we were thinking after that maybe we shouldn't have named our band Freeze the Fall because we're doomed to be quite cold forever. But we're Canadian, so maybe it'll be okay.
Yeah, I think it works great. I love it.
Thank you so much for all the time you're giving us.
Thank you.
I
guys.
wanted to-
Problem.
No
Thank you for having
worries.
us.
Of course. We feel really bad because we wanted to come see you guys perform recently because you've had 4 shows between July 6th and August 10th. So you have 2 more shows coming up really soon, right?
You know more than I do.
Yeah.
Well, apparently you have 2 more
Yes,
shows
yes.
coming up.
Yeah,
Um,
that's correct.
But what we find really cool because we're such family people is all of them are being free for all ages. And
Mhm.
I just think that's awesome. If that is that just your idea? Is that just the place that you could get to and then you want to just be at any show that you can come to, or
Mhm.
how did that come together?
We try to like play wherever we can, and sometimes it is a little weird because of our ages as well.
Yeah.
It's happened at least once where we've been invited to play somewhere and then it turns out we couldn't play there because of our ages.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
we try our best to make everything as accessible, like price wise and also age wise for everybody. So yeah, we try our best.
Yes.
Very
And that's
cool.
awesome. And your next 2 shows, are they in Vancouver?
One is in Vancouver and then one is in a place near it called Peachland.
Oh, and
Okay,
you're doing
cool.
the Peachland Festival, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is amazing. She's never been to the Okanagan that much, so I want to take her there very
Oh,
badly.
It's very
Yes.
beautiful.
You guys are from Alberta, somewhere in the prairies?
Yeah, we were from Calgary for 2 years, but we just moved back to Souk, BC on Vancouver Island.
Beautiful.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
I was just there.
You were just there?
Nice.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Vancouver
actually in
Island is
Souk?
beautiful.
I
Or
think
just
I went
Vancouver
there at
Island?
one point, but didn't stay there. But
Wow.
still,
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah, the island is beautiful.
yeah, it is. That's
Island
what-
girl, born and raised, and then I moved to Alberta a little bit. Come back, you know.
Right, yeah.
We weren't ready for that cold front, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's very, very cold there. I've spent probably half of my winters in my life have been spent in Calgary, and it's like, yep, that's
Oh.
pretty cool.
Like family there then, I guess?
Yeah, it's cold.
Very cool.
Very cold.
Cool. So, do you have any more plans for shows, recording, or releases for the rest of the year outside of August, or maybe at the end of August? Aria?
Aria looks excited.
Yeah. So we're going back in the studio at the end of August for a while. Gonna work on another project, and then can't say much, but there's more coming.
Yeah, I know we are allowed to say, without going into detail, in about 2 weeks, we are actually making another music video. So
Yes.
Really?
for a song that you will see in the future.
Yeah.
And then yeah, we're going back into the studio in August.
Yep.
And yeah.
Wow,
big
that's
things.
very exciting. And this is actually our first recording since coming to BC. So we're finally ready to get back into our reactions and all that and support you
Yeah.
guys even more too. So that's exciting that there's a music video on the way as well.
Yes.
So how did your first open mic in January 2023 go? And was there any hiccups or anything or something fun or memorable?
Throwback.
I think I just remember the drums were so loud. That was like the biggest problem in a lot of our early gigs is I would try to hit quietly, but it wouldn't work out a
don't
lot
hit
of the
quietly.
time.
We are a very loud band.
Yeah.
Like there have been a few times where we played with like other bands in like the same genre, like other rock bands and stuff, and they'll have more members, but we're still louder. And I think it's because Jonah hits the drums so hard.
Yeah,
So everything needs to be turned up.
At Catalano, we were on like one stage and we had been there earlier in the day and there was a bunch of other bands and there was like a venue per street kind of and you
Yeah, it was like
walk,
a big street festival, so there were lots of
yeah,
everyone's
and you,
playing at the same time.
and you'd like walk down, you'd like be near the stage and then by the time you
Yeah.
got to the end of the street you couldn't hear them anymore. But somebody came up to us after the show and was like, I was 2 streets away and I could still hear you guys.
Yeah, yeah. He was like, oh, were you guys that like hard rock like metal band? And we're like, yeah. And he's like, oh yeah, like I didn't like see your show, but I could hear you while I was watching this other show. And we're like,
That's so great, actually.
That's amazing.
yeah, yeah. So that is one thing. We are quite loud.
I feel bad for the other artists now. Like, oh
Oh,
man.
we try our best. We try our best.
Don't feel bad. You just have more emotion than they did. You know?
Big earplugs.
Yes,
Oh, no.
yes. There's the thing. Bring your earplugs one day when you see us live. Make sure.
Wow. So that's a lot of fun. Can you explain your relationship with Reactors and what attracts you to these channels?
Ooh, that's good. I think maybe being an up and coming band, it's interesting for Reactors to see that and be like, wow, their music is actually pretty good, but like, they're so young, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely what attracts us. But I think how much we engage as well with different reactors and different content creators around the platforms, I think that's also pretty appealing because like we'll be in the comment sections or we'll be doing these interviews as well.
Yeah, I
So
think, yeah, and for the reactors, I really love when they like your reactions, for example. I love when they actually like go in depth and try to break down what's going on because there's a lot of reactors who will just like they just sit there and watch the video and they're like, oh, that was pretty cool. Anyways, go subscribe. Which is like it's great, like thank you for taking the time to watch our video, but like I just watched you watch a video and it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
So for watching reactions, it's really cool to see people's like perspectives of how they interpret all these things because we worked so much to create like the videos and the lyrics and the music itself. So it's really
Yeah.
cool to watch reactors like put their own take on things.
Yeah, for sure.
And reactors have been like such a huge part of our growth because they're just sharing our music with their platforms,
Yeah.
which is very, very important to us. And we signed a distribution deal, and in that deal, we were working really hard to make sure that reactors could still have access to our music
Yeah.
because it's
Oh,
very,
very
very
cool.
important for us. So we try our best to make sure that the reactors feel that we
We feel it.
care and that we value them. So
Yeah.
hopefully that comes across.
It does.
Yeah.
Probably over any band that I've seen. And I don't know if that's because you guys are newer and more hip to understand what reaction channels really are or anything like that. Is there something going on that we should know about?
Sorry, I've been playing with like a sticker this whole entire time. She's like putting it on the table.
I actually love that you've been fiddling with the sticker because I like tie knots in my headphones.
Oh, there you
Wow.
go. Show them your sticker. It's like, Dane Bramage, he's one of the reactors. He gave us these like decals.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Like a
That's
nice, like,
so
little
cool.
I like it.
Yes. It took me a minute though because so he's from the States and I think that where he's from they say decals. So he was
Okay.
like telling me about these decals that he had made and it took me like 5 minutes to realize he was talking about decals.
Okay, we'll take some.
So awful. But anyways, that's the decal that he made for us.
Right.
Very cool. I
Very
love that.
The main thing I was trying to say, I guess, is like while you all are performing, I'm sure you're seeing like a wave of people, but it would be nice to have individual feedback from each person. And I think that's what reaction channels can sometimes allow a band to have.
Absolutely.
For
So it's
sure.
really interesting to see them do that and to just dive into it.
How does it feel to be signed by 604 Records in May, which 604 is being the Lower Mainland region in the BC's area code, and Chad Kruger from Nickelback, the lead singer, co-founded that too, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, it was really crazy. They found out about us and like started like looking into us like 16 days after we released Glitch, which is
Wow.
kind of
Wow.
crazy. And then so we went to their studio a little while after like getting the distribution deal, and it was a really cool studio. It was really cool. All the people there are really kind and really want to help us out. So yeah, it's
Wow.
really awesome.
That's
Very cool.
incredible too. You just had something that happened amazing in 2023 where you won the awards for favorite young musician or group and the favorite metal hard music group or artist at the first Gonzo Okanagan People's Choice Awards, which is incredible. How did it feel like to go on the red carpet experience?
Wow.
I remember that feeling still.
Yeah, that feels like forever ago. Wow.
Yeah.
It was definitely so unexpected. We went there and we did not expect to win any awards. We were just like, okay, this could be a cool experience,
We hadn't
right?
even been a band for a year at that point.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like we didn't
so-
have anything really on social media. We were just kind of like some random local band. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I remember we went there and we were like just expecting to go like look at like see some other artists, meet some people and stuff. And it's like we're not gonna win, but like it's still like a really cool experience and stuff.
Yeah.
Whoops.
The two of them.
It's very cool. And that was I remember this. Our first interview ever was that day.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Really?
Sydney Morton.
Yeah.
Yeah, she interviewed us and we were all like, how do you do an interview?
Yeah.
What do you do?
I was actually terrified. I was so
Same.
nervous because it was our first interview and it was live as well.
Yeah.
Which is
Being
hard.
Broadcast on
On the news.
the news. So that was really nerve-wracking,
Yeah.
but it was so exciting.
She was like, can you please
Wow.
spell your first and last name? And I was like, I don't know anything about myself.
I don't even know my name.
Yeah, I don't know my name.
Wow,
Wow.
that's so incredible because for me, you all look like superheroes when you're performing, but then you can find out like there's actually some of these nerves that you all go through, and just to know that even a first interview was more nerve-wracking
Yeah.
probably than even
Yes.
performing, where for people like us,
Yes.
performing would be hard, where the interview maybe is a little easier. So
Yeah.
it's crazy to see where the struggles in performing and being successful, where an interview can be the thing that makes you the most
Yeah.
nervous, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. We're still human too. And I think
Yeah.
it's an important thing. I think we want to share those little like
Yeah.
vulnerable moments because it makes it for a more like inclusive community for the cold front and everything. We don't want to be these like, some artists and stuff are kind of fake. It's like this like perfect being, but we don't want to be like that. We just want to be accessible,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, just to let you guys know, we still get super nervous before all of
Oh,
our shows.
we have
I'm
to
sure you do.
Yeah, we have to like hype each other up before interviews before
Yeah.
there was anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know anytime I'm about to perform, I have to go to the washroom.
Yes.
So like I was
Yeah.
kind of thinking
Yeah,
like
I
Jonah's
feel
in
you
his
there.
pregame nerves here.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I always have to listen to my favorite album before going on stage. I always have to give it a run and
Yeah.
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 What's been the most useful criticism you have ever received individually or as a band?
Whoa.
Wow. That's good. That's good.
That's good.
I feel like most criticism has definitely been pretty positive throughout our time being a band, but do you have anything in
Well,
mind?
I think like Jordan, our producer.
Oh, yes.
He would
of
always
course.
just like encourage me because I get very in my head and I'm like, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can sing that. I don't know if I can play that. And he's like, you can totally do it. He's like, you've done this before. I haven't done it before, but he's like, you've totally done this before. Like, you're just getting in your head. You can do it. So I think just like that type of thing, like he kind of made me very aware that I do get very in my head and just to like keep going and to keep practicing and to just do it, even if you're kind of afraid to do it.
Yeah.
Don't let
Wow.
the fear stop you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think Jordan gave me good advice too, was to just kind of go crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, let loose.
Remember, because he was talking about Slipknot, Jordan. He was like, listen, when have you because
Oh, I remember this.
yes,
Oh, yeah.
because Jonah, he was playing this fill and he was like, but is this like too much? Like, is there too much drums here? And Jordan, he was like, when have you ever listened to Slipknot and thought, you know what, Joey Jordison, there was like a little too much drum there? He's like, when has anyone ever said that? Like, there was no
Never.
such thing. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. I honestly agree. Same thing, Jordan. He's just like,
Wow.
there's a lot of like doubt I had going in the studio. I was like, no, can't do that. But
Yeah.
then he was just like, yeah, you know what, just try. If we can't do it, we'll come back to it another day. If you're not in the mindset, that's fine. We'll try something else. And he just always had like, he always like knew what to say to like
Mhm.
bring
Yeah.
out the best in us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially because we are still a young band, but we were like even younger when we met him. And I think we were still kind of trying to find who we are and our place in music. And we still are, but it was less of a clear vision when we went into the studio and met him.
Mhm.
But he was the one who really showed us like, you all are like so talented and you've practiced your instruments so much and you can absolutely do anything that you put your mind to. And I think that was very encouraging.
It was
Especially
really
because
nice.
like once we started, like, you know, you put your videos up on social media and of course there's all these people who are like, I mean, that was pretty okay, but do this and this and this. And it can be really daunting and really overwhelming. But to have Jordan to ground us and to be like, no, I believe that you can do this. Like
Yes.
that was really, we
Really
needed that. It was
That was
perfect.
very powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
He always had this problem-solving, solution-seeking attitude with us.
Yeah.
And that really helped.
He's very honest with us, but also very encouraging. So he's
Yeah.
very,
Yeah.
he helps us to grow. We've grown a lot since meeting him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jordan Case or Chase then.
Jordan Chase, the producer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We call
Wow.
him Jordan Chase the producer. What's up, Jordan Chase the producer?
And what's cool, because with that question, it sounds like your own doubt sometimes has been the thing that has maybe gotten in the way. So that's
Yeah.
amazing
Yeah.
to know that
Absolutely.
the advice is just let loose, be yourselves. We already love you, so just keep showing yourselves and who
Absolutely.
you are.
Absolutely.
That's really freeing too, right?
Yeah, and it's that type of support that helps people to just keep going, not just musicians, but just anybody in your life. So I think that whenever you're interacting with anybody, it's important to go about it like that, you know, just encourage people and help people, and it makes life so much easier for everybody. So
Yeah.
I agree. Such thoughtful answers here. I'm loving this. So to end this off, what as a band or individually do you think is needed to take the band to the next level?
Mm.
we've got some great questions.
Thank you.
These are great questions. Oh.
Whoa.
Okay, I think I had. There's like
Go
a
for
lot
it.
of answers to this, I think. Do
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
guys have anything in mind?
Go for it.
Okay. So I think they always do this. They'll say something at the exact same time, same tone. It's crazy.
I always take a minute to realize that we said something at the same time because we like said it exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think that playing live and playing locally, interacting with other bands, interacting with other people in the industry, I think just getting connected throughout the industry through playing live gigs, getting stage experience while you're doing that, and then talking to people, I think that's a really important step
Yes.
to taking your band to the next
Definitely.
level.
Absolutely. For me specifically, I think something that I could work more on to feel more comfortable and to just get us to that next level is I can definitely improve on what I'm doing between songs and how I'm interacting with the audience. Like I've been told that I do a good job at that, but I'd like to just feel even more confident and comfortable with that because that stresses me out quite a bit, you know, to be honest, talking to like a few hundred people just on the spot. But I think once I like get that more dialed in, and of course I'll always be nervous about that to some degree, but once I just get it even more dialed in, I think that'll just bring us to like this next level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And adding on top of that, I think that standing out through your stage performance and just your live performance in general
Yes.
is really can what separate you from other bands. Like there's a lot of great music out there.
Of course.
But, having that stage performance and interacting with the audience, doing all that kind of thing, I think that's really can what make a band stand out.
Yeah, absolutely.
agree.
Because for us at least, it's like the music, like all the work you put into the music videos and the actual like the music itself, it is one very important step, but like you have to fully like convince everybody and show people like what is like the essence of this music, like
Yeah.
what is this message that you're trying to say. So stage like your performance and the way you're dressing and everything like that, the way you are on stage is like that other half to that. So
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for me, I'd say also performance-wise, getting a bigger stage presence has been a goal of mine for a long time, and that'll come with time, of course. And also singing and playing at the same time is a skill that I'm finding very hard to learn, but we're getting there. practice and
Mhm.
Yeah, her bass lines are very intricate, so to sing
Yeah.
on top of it is probably
Yeah.
quite difficult.
yeah.
Definitely.
Having to use like both sides of your brain at once type of idea.
And then
Yeah.
a quick like added thing, because you all kind of brought up the same thing of stage presence itself is what you think will bring you to the next level. Is there a band right now or artist
Oh.
that you want to like not necessarily
Emulate?
mimic, but
Yeah.
like
Emulate a little
emulate?
bit?
Yeah.
Mm.
I think at least for me, not so much like a particular band, but I talk about him all the time. Matt Keane from Bring Me the Horizon. His stage presence is like,
Yeah.
wow. It is like such a show. Like I just go to a show to watch him. Like he's crazy on stage, and he plays bass. So, an idol of mine, and I'd love to have a stage presence like his.
Mhm.
That's your favorite band too, right?
Yes, for sure.
Wow.
Very cool.
This
Mhm.
may sound backwards, but for me, I think to improve my stage presence, I have to think less about that because I think what's holding back my stage presence is sometimes I get really overwhelmed with all the like comparisons and stuff online.
Mm.
And so I start worrying like whenever I'm on stage, I'm like, oh my God, I just did this one like hand gesture. What if it looks too much like this other person? And I get so in my head about it,
Okay.
even though I know it's not like that. So I think I just need to stop thinking of all these comparisons and just do whatever comes naturally to me.
And just be
It sounds
Quinn.
funny because it's backwards to the question, but I think
Yeah.
that's what's holding me back. So
Yeah, that makes
That
I
sense.
makes
love
a
it.
lot of sense too, especially because you've mentioned like you're a very introverted individual and like you're really very often you're much more in your head with how you're interpreting the world around you. So I think that is a really big thing to be like, no, I just need to be Quinn on stage. I don't need to emulate
Yeah.
someone else, and to be able to figure out who really Quinn is in a physical manner, not just a mental manner.
absolutely. So I
Yes.
think that's the next step for me. And I'm excited to see what that ends
Yeah.
up looking like, you know?
I'm excited to watch all three of your journey and see where everything goes from here.
Can you share your experience with getting your Jackson guitar signed by the Warning?
Oh yeah, so I saw them in Penticton, like 2 years ago or something, and it was just a really crazy experience for me because they were the band that really got me playing music. So it was just crazy. I remember like driving there. Like Penticton is like an hour or so drive from where we are from,
Right.
and I remember the whole drive. I was like, I think I'm gonna throw up. Like I can't do this. I don't want to meet them now. I'm so scared. But I went up there and there was hardly really anyone at the meet and greet. It was just us and one other person. So I
Wow.
went up there and I don't know, it had a little conversation with them and they were very sweet. They were very cold. I think they're not used to the Canadian weather. Like it hadn't hit this full like Canadian winter yet, but they were all like bundled up and they got sick a few days later because
Oh,
of the
man.
cold. I
Oh.
felt so awful for them. But yeah, they signed my guitar and it was just crazy. I don't know. It was just crazy.
That's so cool.
That is crazy. And this one kind of blends into the band a bit more. You love to study language. Can you speak multiple languages? And if so, will you ever try to incorporate different languages into your lyrics?
No way. Okay.
Literally.
No way?
Talking about this, I can't reveal anything, but we were just talking about this. So yeah, so my first language is obviously English, but when I was about 4 years old, French was introduced to me. Throughout my life, all my classes in school have been taught in French, so I can speak French and English. I can also speak a bit of Norwegian. Before Canada, my family was from Norway. I'd never say I'm Norwegian because I'm too far removed, but one of my biggest dreams is to go to Norway. So I'm trying to learn as much Norwegian as I can. And also, one of my closest friends is Ukrainian, and so in her house they always speak Russian. So I've been exposed to a lot of Russian. I'm taking like a Russian class in school.
Wow.
So I dabble in Russian and Norwegian and then fluent in English and French. So
Very cool.
And maybe
Yeah.
something coming in the future, it looks
yeah,
like.
keep your eyes.
Another Easter egg.
Yes, I promise you will see more languages than just English.
We're
in our
literally
music.
just working on that.
Yeah, we were just working on that.
Wow, incredible. We feel on the pulse with you because of how accessible and how much you want to be on the pulse with everyone too. So thank you for making us feel like part of your family as well. Is there anything that you three want to say before we head out here?
I think just thank you so much for having us, and to
Yeah.
everybody watching, thank you so much for taking the time. It really means the world to us.
Yeah, it really does.
Our new EP, well, our debut EP Thrones just came out today, so go check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New video for One Left Standing.
Yeah.
And stay
Yeah.
tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Coming.
Yes, we have crazy things within the next few months, like after
Yeah.
Thrones. Can't reveal anything, but Thrones is just the beginning.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody's ready. Nobody's ready.
We're not ready. I'm sweating thinking about it.
Yes. Thank you so much for taking the
Yeah.
time with
So
us.
much.
It really means the world.
This was an amazing time, and thank you as well. All the best success, and you guys did incredible with this interview. So if you're having any nerves about how you guys interview, it's one of the best interviews that we have had.
Thank you so much. I think this might be one of the best interviews.
This is
I've ever
this is one of
had.
my favorite interviews
Yeah,
of
this is
all
my
time.
favorite.
No
Like,
way,
your
really?
questions align perfectly with our train of thought and the way that we
Yes.
express ourselves.
It felt
So
like a conversation with friends.
I could talk about this for like 10 hours with you guys.
Well, we hope to actually see you in person soon. That will be our goal. We can't make any promises as we just moved and things are really tight right now. But when
All
we
good.
can, we will try to make it down and be a part of your guys' journey.
We will see you at some
Awesome.
point. And
Yeah.
of course,
Yeah.
it's always bonus to meet more Canadians.
Yes,
Hey?
It's always fun. So
Yes.
yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah,
you guys.
thank you guys
Absolutely.
for having us.
Yeah,
We really
thank you.
appreciate it.
Of course, and even down the line, if when new stuff comes out, if you ever want to do another interview or anything
Yeah.
like that, just let us know, and
I'm
we'd
sure
love to
we will.
continue this.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, we got to
Awesome.
get to our baby now.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Rock on. We'll see
Okay.
you.
Oh, guys.
See you guys.
Take care, eh? Thank
Take
you so
And
much.
you too.
Uh-oh, uh-oh.
Is it-
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.